Namaste and welcome. It is Rishi here from meditatewithrishi.com, and today we are speaking about how enlightenment gets rid of all your desires instantly. So firstly, I'm not claiming to be enlightened, okay? What I want to share with you is a really cool story that illustrates this point really well, okay? Over the past couple of days, we have done some really heavy videos. So the next few days, I want to keep it really light and share some cool stories with you. So this story is called The Princess of Kashi, okay? It's an amazing story. It shows you how everything you seek is actually within you, okay? Now, before we begin, if you are new to this channel, I've got a gift for you. So for my coaching clients, I designed something really cool called the 11 Yogic Rules for Daily Peace. It is a cheat sheet, something really cool that has 11 ways to instantly make your day and your life more peaceful, okay? If you want that, you can grab it at meditatewithrishi.com/cheat sheet. I will link it in the description below, okay? So let's begin. What is this story? The Princess of Kashi, okay? Kashi, you may know Kashi as Banaras or Varanasi, as it's now called, an ancient city in India. It is one of the holiest cities in India, and you know, it has the river Ganga flowing through it. It has over 2,000 temples. It is said that if you have the fortune of dying in Kashi, then you get instant liberation. How amazing, right? So the story is set, I think it's a really old story, maybe a few hundred or even 1,000 years ago. And when there was a kingdom there. So there's a king and a queen, and they have a son, a 5-year-old son, who is a prince, okay? So what happens is that on the prince's 5th birthday, the king and queen want to celebrate. You know, they want to celebrate his 5th birthday. And the queen wants to have a play, like a theater, okay? And the play is called The Princess of Kashi. So what they're doing is they're looking for somebody to star in that role, like who will be the Princess of Kashi. And the queen decides that who better than my own son to play this role. And you know, she thinks I'll get to dress him up like a princess, make him wear a dress. This is something that I imagine mothers do. And you know, she dresses him up and he plays the role. He acts as the Princess of Kashi in the play. And this is done on the celebration of his birthday, okay? So everything goes really well. And now we come to 15 years later, okay? So 15 years later, what happens? The prince is now a young man. He's 20 years old and he is exploring his kingdom, exploring his palace, looking at, you know, all the unseen kind of places or rooms in the palace. And he goes into the cellar, and as he's just, you know, wandering, he finds this old painting, like a massive painting. And that painting is something that the queen had commissioned during that play, during the Princess of Kashi play. So he sees this painting with a really cute, like young girl on the poster, on the painting. And it says the Princess of Kashi. And he looks at this young girl and, you know, he just finds her so cute, so adorable. And he looks at the date and he says, wow, this is, you know, like 15 years ago. She's my age. You know, he looks at the date and he's like, she must be around my age. So that means that she's alive right now. And, you know, she's a Princess of Kashi. She's alive. She's in my country. And if she looks so cute, you know, at this age, she must be really beautiful now, is what he thinks. And he continues thinking in this direction, and actually he falls in love with her. He just in his mind, he's infatuated. And he falls in love with her. And, you know, day by day, he becomes more and more kind of obsessed. You know, he he decides that this is the girl that I want. I'm going to find this girl and I'm going to marry this girl. It's become his life's mission. But inwardly, he's a bit, shy and embarrassed, and he doesn't know how to communicate this to anyone. So the people around him, they notice that his behavior has changed over the past few days. He's lost, he's in another world, he's not really carrying out his princely duties that well. And finally, one of the king's ministers, musters up the courage to speak to him. And he goes to him and he says, "Prince, what's up with you? Why are you behaving so differently?" And this is a minister that is a good friend of the prince. So the prince actually confides in him. He tells him that, "Look, I was roaming around the palace and I found this painting and I saw this girl and I'm in love. I'm in love with her." And the minister says, "Amazing, let's try and find her." And he's like, so the prince is like, "It should be easy. She is the Princess of Kashi." And the minister, he's like, "I've heard this name before." And he's like, "Where did you find this painting?" And he's like, "I found it. It's in a cellar. And it's dated like 15 years ago." And the minister, he's been there at the kingdom for ages. He's putting two and two together. And he's like, 15 years ago, Princess of Kashi, this must be that painting that the queen commissioned for the play. So he tells the prince, just take me to the painting, okay? And the prince takes him. And, the minister sees that this is actually nobody else but the prince himself as a 5-year-old dressed up as a girl for the play. And now he's like, how do I tell the prince that, what this is? So he's like, okay, I need to just put it out there, okay? And he just says it to him that this, I'm sorry to say this, but this is not some girl. There is no Princess of Kashi. This is actually you. This is you dressed up like a girl and playing the Princess of Kashi on your 5th birthday. And when the prince hears this, immediately, instantly, his infatuation for this princess is gone. It just disappears completely. He starts laughing because he's like, "Oh God, this is me. I can't believe I went so crazy and thought this is some girl and I fell in love with her. This is actually me. So okay, that's it. Let's move on." So if you notice what happened there, then we now get to the moral of the story that in a second, the desire vanished. So the prince had been obsessed, infatuated. It was the driving force of his life for a few days. And all of a sudden, it disappeared in a second. So the desire evaporated. But the question is, how did it evaporate? So was it by, number one, was it by fulfilling the desire? So did they go and find the princess and, acquire or kind of, attract the princess and make her fall in love with the prince? Is that how the desire vanished? No, they didn't do that, right? Or did it happen by failing? Like, did they go and look for the princess and not find her and realize that, okay, maybe we'll never find her. So then the desire vanished? No. So neither by fulfilling the desire did it vanish, neither by failing to attain the desire did it vanish. How did it actually vanish? It vanished by realizing that what the prince was seeking was actually him all along. What the prince was seeking was actually him all along. And this is what happens in enlightenment. You realize that everything that you're seeking is nowhere else but within you. You are the source of all the peace, bliss, and happiness that you seek. Okay? You are the source. So, this is, really wanted to share this story with you. Okay? Now, you're probably still wondering, but what does this mean that everything is within me, right? I get the story, fine, but I'm looking for success, I'm looking for abundance, I'm looking for love. Like how is that like me? How is it within me? Like that doesn't really make sense. So for clarity on that, I'm going to do another video tomorrow. So make sure you tune in and watch that video. And I'm going to, in a really simple way, explain to you what that actually means, okay? But for today, just keeping it short and sweet, I really hope you enjoyed the story, The Princess of Kashi. Okay, thank you very much for listening. Namaste.